morning, everybody. This is Ken Cooley, District6060. I am here with Mr. Ralphie May Zuke. How are you, sir?
Doing great. It's feeling nice to finally be done all my long rides. Uh, we finished the last one yesterday, and now we're going to take a day off and run up to Banff and check it out while the weather's really nice today. And
So,
then
so the rumor
tomorrow,
mill is what? You are like 8 miles south of Calgary, or how? Where are you?
well, we're actually right now we're 25 miles south, but yeah, we only have 8 miles to go
Not
to
too
finish up.
shabby.
So we got our miles in. We just need to go back up and start from about 8 miles out. There's a nice little spot we saw south part of the city. We're going to take uh, paths, bike paths most of the way in, and hopefully see a few people when we get there.
That's awesome. So where are you staying right now?
Right now, we're just south of Calgary at a town called High River, and we're going to camp out here for 2 nights because, like I said, we didn't want to get into Calgary too early because no one will be expecting us yet. And so we're just going to have a fun day today. We're going to run up to Banff and check that out, uh, and make a nice day of that. And then tomorrow, it's I think we're supposed to have some rain moving in tomorrow, so I doubt we'll do much other than hopefully clean my bike and my rickshaw because it is so dirty. It is awful.
So,
Uh,
so
we
I
still
heard
have
you
mud.
have a special visitor that at this hotel.
Yeah, this is pretty fun. Last night when I was checking in, or actually, I pulled into the back lot to leave the trailer back there, and as I'm pulling in, I look over and there's this grassy hill right next to the parking lot. There's this guy walking his potbelly pig, and to be honest, I know people have them as pets, and I know they make really good pets, but I'd never had a chance to talk to somebody who's had one, and so we had a rather long conversation about the uh, what he's learned so far about having a potbelly pig, and of course his name is Wilber. So um, yeah, but no, it was a lot of fun, and Wilbur is a guest here at the hotel. Um, the gentleman who I don't know if you call it owner or food provider. I'm not sure what you actually want to call it technically, but uh, he's having his house renovated. He actually lives here in town, and he's he and his wife and Wilbur are taking up residence here in the hotel.
Hmm, that's crazy. Did you give him a ride?
No, no, I don't think he would have the patience or tolerance for that. He's smarter than that.
That's funny. Well, I think I told you before. One pig's okay, but never trust anybody who's got more than 8 pigs,
Yeah, no,
because
no.
them pigs will
He's
eat a body like nobody's business.
no, he just has the one, and he actually did say, we were asking about diet, and he goes, "Yeah, we don't feed them any meat, even though they can digest it. It tends to make them more aggressive." So he goes, he's a vegetarian.
Well, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm a vegetarian as well, but if I get bacon near me, watch out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So your trip's winding up. You've got one last ride to come into town. What are like some of the highlights that you've had? What stands out? Like this is so cool that I got to do this, or something along those lines.
Wow, it's really hard to pick one because I've had so many amazing things happen on this. But if I had to really pick one thing, it's that I feel like I've learned a lot on this trip. Uh, in many different areas. For instance, one of the things that I've always, felt like is when you have a really small Rotary club that's not necessarily a healthy Rotary club. Well, I'm in towns that may only have a few hundred people, and so their club by definition is going to be pretty small. But I'm amazed at how much some of these clubs do,
Hmm.
and yeah, the fear is, if you lose a few more people, that could be a problem. But man, I got to tell you that at least the people who I was running into, they may be clubs of 8, 10 people, but man, they did a lot. And it gave me a different perspective on numbers. Well, clearly we do need to increase our numbers, and I think that's it's been going on for years. We've been talking about that. But it's not necessarily the worst thing if it's a club of 8 and they're in a community that's relatively small. If they're doers, they get a lot done. And I've been very impressed by that. So I've learned a lot about that. I've also learned a lot about, you know, when you're with people in their setting, you learn like what are the problems and concerns they have. And that's been pretty eye-opening, particularly in the rural communities where they're very dependent on what the weather is. I mean, there's a whole lot of variables that I hadn't really thought about. You subconsciously but when you actually see it in person and you see it right in front of you, you have a whole different appreciation for it. So
Yeah.
I think it's been an educational trip. I think that's one of the highlights I would say. Of course, for me, it's always meeting people. I mean, clearly I'm a little bit of an extrovert, and I
Just a
very
tad.
much enjoy, yeah, just a tad. I really do enjoy meeting people, and I've had so many great experiences doing that I really, like I said, it's going to be hard to top this.
You talk about small clubs, and so our club's kind of spoiled. We're a satellite club, the civilians club, but we are the satellite club of Club 11. And the way it kind of works together, us helping them helping us, that helps our cause being a smaller club. Are you finding that as you're going out into these different rural areas that like the clubs that have 7 or 8 people, they just don't have the support like our club does, but they're still finding ways to get stuff done? Is that what you're finding?
It's weird. I'm going to use Big Sandy an example. Community of I think 900, which I was
I'm
actually
sorry,
shocked it was that big.
I got to interrupt. There's a town called Big Sandy.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
Pee Wee Herman's Large Marge.
So,
Where
but they're
where
an
is Big
amazing club.
Sandy?
Oh, that's in Montana,
Okay.
and it's a small community, but they clearly they have found support within the community, and they do mention that when I was talking to them about even though they're not a large club, they have a lot of support from the community, and they get just a tremendous amount done,
Hmm.
and clever ideas on how to get things done, and it's nice. I think I have probably met with I think about 22, maybe 23 Rotary clubs now, not necessarily at their meeting time, because a lot of times that's hard to do, but we would have informal get-togethers when I'm in town. And one of the things I've really liked is that I get to see like how they're doing things and cherry pick like, ooh, I like that, Well, if there's going to be a place that can come in handy. And so getting to meet with all these other Rotary clubs, it's been a really nice thing too. And you start to find out that people have come up with clever ways to get things done. And there's been a lot of that on this trip that I've gotten to witness, which has been great.
So you've done this 3 times now.
Hmm.
Toronto, Houston, and now Calgary.
Hmm.
This was by far the most epic trip out of the bunch, clearly. Uh,
Yeah.
is this your favorite one, or what's your favorite one? Tom Brady always says, "What was your favorite championship?" And he goes, "The next one."
I'm kind of hoping that I don't need to do a next one, but we'll see. I think that would be Minneapolis, St. Paul, which would also be the shortest one. Um, but each one of them, I've learned different things. I've gotten to see areas that I didn't know real well going in, but now I feel like I know much better. Because of the longevity of this one, of course, this has a lot more to work with, and I got to see a lot of stuff on this trip. Uh, I can't really pick a favorite because they've all had a different flavor, and I've enjoyed all of them. It would be hard to pick. Now, I would say again, the longevity of this one clearly uh, sets it, at a different level. Uh, it was funny. The other day, I had somebody ask me, "So how far have you gone?" And I think miles of actual riding miles, I'm between 15 and 1600. I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure that's about where I'm at. And being up in Canada, I'm kind of used to people asking in kilometers. So I was like, I had to calculate that out. And I think that's something like 2,300 kilometers, which sounds really good. I mean, I think 15, 1600, that's not bad. You start saying 2,300 kilometers. Yeah, that looks real good.
The metric systems. That's
We
funny.
actually, I told a guy last night, we finished up. We were at we sort of celebrated a little bit last night that all of our long rides are over, and really we just sort of have a victory lap to do on Saturday morning. And so we had a couple drinks, and we were at a brew pub, and came to find out that the owner's, let's see, the owner's mother was there celebrating her birthday, and the bartender who we talked to for a bit, I asked him. I said, you know, what do you think? Should we give her a ride in the rickshaw? And he goes, "Oh, absolutely." It was his mother-in-law, and we took her out, and
Did he say keep going?
no, no, no. I think he gets along quite well with her, and
Okay.
so, but it was so funny. I don't think I've had anyone laugh and smile as much as she did in that rickshaw yesterday.
Oh, good.
And after she was done, we were talking to some other people, and there's one guy who was a truck driver from up here. And so when he asked how far we had gone, I did it in kilometers, and he goes, "No, no, 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 miles, miles." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, no, I truck all over the place." He goes, "I do it in miles." So caught me off guard. I'm like, "Wait, where'd this come from?"
That's awesome.
So, but no, and we had a fun night last night. We were just, like I said, the hard part's over now, and my last ride is primarily on bike paths, so I won't have to have Kevin follow behind me on that one. If he does, he might get a ticket because I don't think they would appreciate having pulling a pickup truck behind me.
Well, shout out to Kevin because like Kevin did what the last 3 weeks with you.
Actually, last 2 weeks.
Okay,
He's
so
with me for the conference, and then he's also with me driving back home. So
gotcha.
when all's said and done, he'll be like 3.5, 4 weeks.
That's awesome.
So
So the missus is meeting you in Calgary.
yeah, she flies in tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing her. I mean, it's been almost 8 weeks. So yeah, and
She must be in love.
well, every time we talk on the phone, she's always like, "I miss you, I miss you." I'm like, "It's soon. We're gonna be here
Yeah.
soon."
Is she driving
So
back with you guys or is she flying back?
no, she's flying back. She has to
Okay.
get back to work, and quite honestly, there's not room for three adults in my pickup truck. Not unless
So
I put Kevin in
so
the
the wife
trailer.
loses or
Yeah, no, Kevin would end up in the trailer. I don't
yeah,
think he wants
yeah.
that. It's a little chilly back there.
Yeah,
So
what's the weather like now where you're at? Because when we had talked a while back, you were talking about how you're still dealing with spring weather, really.
and I would still call it sort of spring. I mean, I actually have seen lilacs blooming yesterday at the Rotary Park here in High River.
Wow.
there was beautiful lilacs blooming. There's roses blooming. I mean, it smelled great over. There was a pavilion in the park, and it smelled so good just hanging out there. But today, I think we're supposed to be up in the 70s, but then it's going to drop down. And I think the next 2 or 3 days, we're supposed to have some rainy, possible windy weather come through. And I think the highs are in the 40s, maybe
Oh
50.
my God.
It's gonna be a little bit nippy,
Dude,
considering,
we're
I've
90s
heard
here.
y'all are I heard y'all are hot and humid.
Well,
Oh,
I'd rather have it 90s and hot and humid because nobody's ever died from freezing then.
oh, no one's gonna die at 50 of freezing.
Oh, I used to be an East Coast guy. I used to be the Ralph Zuke of the East Coast. I used to have my hockey jersey and my cargo shorts, and that was it in the winter. And then we moved here, and my blood is thinned out, and I can't be cold.
So, but I think a little bit later next week we're supposed to be back up in this like low 70s, which
Wow.
seems to be pretty average around here. It was a little warm the last couple days. We yesterday our final ride day. I think we were probably in the mid 70s,
That's not bad.
and no, it was great. In fact, I don't know if I've had like a more enjoyable day to ride than yesterday because we got a little bit of everything. We had a little bit of gravel, a little bit of highway, a little bit of secondary blacktop, a few small hills, nothing big. But the best part, a strong tailwind all day yesterday.
Oh, good.
It was like, what a great way to finish this up. It's like, all right, that works. Hopefully Saturday we get a nice break in the weather and I can do the final ride in without getting rained on. I will ride in that part though, rain or shine. It's like, no, we're finishing it up the ride that way, and we're
You
not we're not gonna miss out over a little rain.
you had also said that this rickshaw is more aerodynamic. It's an easier
It
ride.
is.
Was it
Oh yeah, I
Dan
wouldn't
that
have
put
ever
this
been
thing
able to.
together for you?
What's that?
Dan put this thing together for you?
Yeah, Dan did a great job on this, and I gotta tell you, I could never have made this ride with the old rickshaw.
Yeah.
Uh, Between the weight and not that, to be honest, I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't think I had one day in this whole trip where I had real strong headwinds.
Huh.
We had some with some mild headwinds, and it was a little bit slower, but not much. I've had more days with tailwinds, and again, I was really expecting a lot more issues with headwinds on this ride because I'm going northwest, and that's the two most prevalent areas that it's going to be coming from. But like yesterday, I had wind coming from, it was from the southeast. So it wasn't an exact tail, but it was pretty close to a perfect tailwind. There
Cool.
were, there were points where the highway would swerve a little and it'd be like, there would be 2 or 3 miles where I'm just like, oh, I'm barely pedaling. I'm doing 17 miles an hour. I like this. So
You could also add a sail.
well, that's what the chair is.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
but
So,
it was
uh,
good.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention, I always keep in the top corner the donate here, and we'll put that donate in the comments. I know you're trying to hit a goal. I just donated this morning. It's a very easy process to do. Uh, Tell us a little bit about that. Where do you know where you are at your goal, and all that good stuff.
I actually don't. I need to talk to Valerie about that. And I know that there's clubs. Let's see, the Washington Club is going to be presenting a check to me up here, so I'll have
Cool.
a check from them. So there's still things coming in, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of people who have been saying, "Oh, we got time," doing the Ken Cooley thing, waiting until the last day or two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, let's get it in. Let's get it done. One thing I did learn on this ride, which I didn't know about, was that, we have that matching fund from the Gates Foundation up to 100 million. And that means Rotary has to put in 50 to do that, to get that 100 million. And apparently last year, we actually didn't put in 50 just straight out. They had to transfer some of that money
Mm.
from foundation over to it. And it's like, oh, let's not do that. let's get the full amount in there. Again, we're so close, and we have an opportunity right now to do something that it's only been done once before with smallpox, and we're this close. Let's not drop the ball on the literally the 1 inch line, which is
Yeah.
about where we're at. Let's get this done, and like I said, then we get to the excitement of seeing what's next. But we can't do that until we finish what we promised we were going to do. And like I said, a lot of people worked incredibly hard and have sacrificed a lot to get us to this point. The best thing we can do is to finish it, to honor what they had done to get us here. Um, it's something I feel very strongly about. Um, I'm a history buff, and I look back and I look at those people who started it. Again, when they announced this, there was a lot of skepticism that it could even be done.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I'm very proud of is that Rotarians, they're a lot of smart people, way smarter than I am. I get to tag on to their coattails. But they're smart people, and they figure out how to do things when everyone else says it can't be done. And this, to finish this up would be just an amazing story. And I'm shocked that it's not bigger news, to be quite honest. I mean,
I had a conversation with our group a little bit about, and in my presentation, if I'm tooting my own horn, we don't brag enough. We don't tell the story, but it's not bragging if it's the truth. And I think we
exactly.
need to get
Yeah.
better at telling the story and telling the truth. And I think that's a huge thing that we do wrong that we need to do better.
Well, and that's one of the things as a district governor elect. My year for district governor is I want to make it more comfortable for people to tell their story. And there's several different things I'll be doing. I've already talked about the pink flamingos.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, another thing on this trip, like I said, there's things I've learned on this trip that I'll get to use later on. So I'm doing the pink flamingos for my year as district governor, but I actually have something that I'm going to use after I'm done being district governor that will continue on for a much longer period of time.
Very cool.
And I'm not going to spill beans on exactly what it is yet, but it's something that happened to me on this trip where somebody handed me something that is very special when somebody hands it to you. And I'll be continuing on with that tradition after I'm done being district governor.
I think I know where you're going with that, and we'll talk.
Yeah, I think I've talked to you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But until I actually have what I want in hand and I'm ready to start using them, I'm going to keep those somewhat quiet right at the moment. But
Very cool.
the idea is, again, I want people to be able to feel comfortable talking about what they do, whether it's polio or feeding hungry people. We cover the gamut. That's the other nice thing about being in Rotary is we're not pigeonholed into one little thing. We cover a huge. It's any of the pillars, we can do it. And to be quite honest, it's kind of hard not to. It would be hard to find something that wouldn't fit into the 7 pillars. I mean, I guess if you want, to gamble at blackjack and all, and learn how to do that better, maybe that wouldn't fit in so well. But other than that, I mean, really, we cover a large area, and and again, I'm real proud of the things that are being done in our district, and I've been amazed at what I'm seeing done in other clubs and districts that I've passed through. Just in general, Rotarians do a lot.
Well, you made a very good point. I moved over from one district to our current district, and you're going to be governor in 2 weeks, so I might need a pardon or something. But we want to give a big shout out to Jerry, who took on this year and is your predecessor. Anything you want to say to him?
I really enjoyed working with Jerry this year. We started a thing where we do an informal breakfast, um, every few weeks, and uh, it just started with Jerry and I at first, and then when Luke came on, we added Luke to the mix, and it's been really good because we have our meetings that we do for our district, our sort of official district line meetings. And those are great, but to be able to sit down at a breakfast across from one another, I've gotten to know Jerry a lot better, and I really appreciate Jerry a lot. And he's been great. I can't tell you how many times I'll call Jerry up and say, Jerry, I need help with this, and he's always absolutely willing to do it. And that's a great thing. When you jump into this line, you realize that there's a lot to learn, and you don't have to know everything, but it's really good to know the people. Like you need to know who to call when you need to know
Yeah, yeah.
something in particular. And Jerry has definitely been that, and I'm sure he'll continue in that role. As immediate past district governor. But no, I have very much enjoyed working with him this year, and like I said, he's very appreciated in my book. I'm really glad that we've gotten to know each other, and it's going to be a little different. I mean, he'll still be invited to our first couple lunches when I get back, but I'm sure at some point he's going to be like, okay, guys, it's time to pass that baton, and we're bringing Stevens Plowman on. He'll be the new Luke, as we all do our changeover and move up our slots. But I'm really looking forward also to working with Luke and Stevens, and
Yeah.
to have that continuation where I think because we do these nice informal get-togethers, I think you're going to see a more we're all on board when we announce something that we're doing. So it's not going to be chopped up like, oh, it's 1 year here, 1 year there. I think you're going to see a nice sort of transition as we go through the district line right now. And that was one of the things that ended up. I can't say it was a goal. I didn't realize how much difference it would make having these separate meetings.
Mm.
But I think it has made a big difference, because we do get to sit down one on one. A lot of times we're doing things on Zoom, which is great. But to sit down one on one across from each other and talk about these things, I think it'll be beneficial for the leadership, and I think ultimately it'll be beneficial for the all the clubs and membership as well.
Well, I'm a big believer. I think if all the world leaders got together and just sat down and had pancakes, the world would be a much better place.
Not bacon, huh?
No, well, I can't.
But
That's like
no,
my.
it does help. It does help when you get to do the one-on-ones, and like I said, I'm seeing the benefit of that right now, and I think it'll continue on. So, I mean, we're sort of fortunate right now that everyone who's in the district leadership line, we're geographically pretty close in together, and that helps. I mean, it would be a lot tougher if we had somebody from Hannibal, which actually Stevens is, but Stevens also spends time in St. Louis, so it makes it a lot easier. Um, if it was, not as easy geographically, this would be a tougher thing to do. But
Yeah.
right now, it's working. So it's like let's run with it for as long as we can, and once we get to that point where we have somebody maybe from the southern part or the northern part again who can't make it, we'll cross that bridge, or they'll be the ones who'll have to cross that bridge. But I think I think this has been beneficial. So, and
Very
I'm
cool.
really looking forward to our first lunch back or breakfast back. We've already set a date where I got a lot to do. It's been hard being gone for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I've had really poor, honestly, the best reception I've had on my phone has been once I crossed into Canada, which I've had actually pretty darn good coverage here in Canada.
Boy,
Uh,
healthcare and coverage.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So, oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Uh,
Oh, it's just been nice though. I mean, there's a lot that we have to do. I have some slots that need to be filled. I have some people who have stepped up and said they would like to consider, be considered for it. We're going to have meetings as soon as we get back. Try to get all areas filled in pretty quickly. I don't have a lot of my club visits scheduled in July. Actually, right now, I don't have a whole lot of club visits scheduled. We're going to be really hitting that hard as soon as I get back. But I didn't want to do it in July. First of all, as you know, we've been in Rotary long enough. We know no one's around in July.
yeah,
You go to a club and two-thirds of them are on vacation or doing other things, and that's fine. I mean, it's summer, and
that time of
so
year.
it's that time of year. So I'm really going to start doing my club visits. August, September, October. I'll try to hit those pretty hard. Um, the message that I want to bring to clubs is really not a time sensitive message. I mean, it's not like, oh, this is what we're doing just for this year. It'll be a message that I think will resonate, and it's a little bit more timeless. It'll go across many years of what we're trying to do in Rotary. So, and I think it's fine if it's not the first part of the. I know a lot of my district governor class. They're like, yeah, we want to do ours, the first 2 months. But like, yeah, but if half the people aren't there, then you kind of your message doesn't get heard as well. So uh, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. Every past district governor I've talked to said they've loved doing their club visits, and I'm sure I'll be no different. Uh,
Well,
I'm looking forward to them.
I'm probably going to tag along on a few of them because I definitely want to meet some people and meet some of the crew. As we're winding down here, is there any messages you want to get out? Anything that you want to tell the people watching here?
Um, yeah, I guess one of the lessons I hadn't talked about earlier, but it's a lesson, and you and I know this guy pretty well, who really taught us early on in our Rotary career, which is if you're not having fun in Rotary, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Greg was a big proponent of that, and I know he told probably both of us that quite a few times, and I feel like doing a trip like this, the fun I've had on this, yeah, I feel like I'm doing Rotary right.
Oh, good. Yeah, Greg Yank, for me anyway, when I was president twice for 4 years, he was the one who tore me in. I mean, he's just a good dude, and we miss him.
Yeah, we do, and he taught us a lot of very valuable lessons. I mean, there was a reason that Greg was a zone director. I mean, he was
Yeah.
very good at what he did, and like I said, he taught a lot of us a whole lot about Rotary, and that's the one thing I always try to say. It's like you got to have fun doing this, and really, I've had so much fun this last 2 months. I know that there's a lot of work as soon as I get home. I mean, again, with the tornadoes
Yeah.
that hit in our district, both in the city and south of the city, and I heard there was another one yesterday morning, although I think it was a much weaker one
A little
up
weaker,
north.
yeah, a little geographically a little further.
Yeah, but it's we got a lot of work ahead of us this year. We're about to take on some responsibilities that as a district we've never done before,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a big learning curve for us. Although luckily we do have we're not starting from zero. We're working with another organization who's very good at this and are willing to teach us. So we got a lot going on this next year, and
Well, and the good news about that is we have like I'm going to tell you this. I haven't really told anybody. Is I sponsored one person last night, and I may have another one coming in. So as Chad and Andrew and Lehman and everybody in our group are out there doing the work, uh, we're getting noticed. So I think if you want to volunteer, I got a group that you can join And
Yeah.
holy moly, just talk about being on the front lines. The civilians are killing it right now.
I'm so proud of our club. I mean, I haven't been there to do anything for the relief effort at this point. I made a commitment to do what I'm doing here,
Yeah,
and I need to finish that up. But I am looking forward to getting back and seeing everybody and what they've been up to, because I know a lot of that club has just been just nailing it,
yeah,
and I couldn't be more proud to say I'm part of the civilians.
yeah.
And
I don't know
you
when
know,
Chad Baker sleeps.
yeah, I'm not sure either. So,
Unbelievable.
although I want to make sure he does get some sleep, we need him healthy. We need him,
Yes.
So if you're watching, Chad, get some rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So,
but
so,
no,
so
it's been good.
awesome. Awesome. So I just want to say, we'll probably talk again at the conference. I know you were talking about doing something together, but it's
Yeah.
really been a pleasure. When you asked me to do this, it's really been a pleasure just to be able to chat with you. And, it's hard not to be able to call and say, hey, what are you up to? I miss my friend. So we're all really proud of you, dude, and just super excited to actually know somebody who's a local superhero. So, uh,
Well, thank you. And
we know you don't have a cape, but maybe we'll come up with one. I don't know.
no, no, no. I've been told no capes, no capes.
Yeah, because they get caught in the jet engines from
That's
Incredibles. So
exactly it. No, no capes.
understood. All right, Bubba. Well,
But
let's plan on chatting at the conference and maybe find a
yeah.
corner and we'll just chat and see how you're doing. See if you
Well,
actually get some sleep in the next couple of days.
oh no, I don't need to yet. Actually, in fairness, I have been doing pretty well, because when you ride like that, you tend to sleep really hard. For let's see, 50 days now, I've been saying, I need to get up and do a really nice early morning ride. I have not done an early morning ride the entire trip. I mean, like, well, it's kind of weird that I haven't really had to, because it's light here at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I can ride till kind of whenever, and it's like you don't have to do super early morning. Although it is getting light here. I think around 4:30, quarter or five. It's already starting to get light. We're so far north. And of course, summer solstice is what, a day or two out.
Yeah.
So, we're about to have the longest day, and it's way, way longer than I'm used to, because it is weird when you do something in the evening. Like, you'll have dinner. Like last night, we were out last night, had dinner, saw some live music while we were at the place we were at. And I'm used to, like, after all that, you go out and it's dark, you go home, you get ready for bed. It was still totally bright out. It was like, is it 4 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean,
Oh my
it
goodness.
really, it's a little hard to get used to, but yeah, that's kept me from having to wake up super early also.
Oh,
So
good.
I only wake up really early to talk to my friend Ken, because I know you had stuff you had to do today. So, and we're trying to head up to Banff. So as we wrap this up, I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of old friends and new friends at the convention. I'm really excited about the convention right now. It's my third one, and I gotta tell you, they're always a good time, and I'm hoping to see everybody there. So if you see this, definitely look for me. There's not too many bald guys wearing, the End Polio Now shirt, black shorts all the time, but that's probably what I'll be in most of the time. So
It's the
at some point,
official
I do have
Ralph
to put my
uniform.
Canada shirt. Yeah, it
But
is. It is.
that's
And
awesome.
it's been pretty good, because a lot of times people do find me because of that. And you know, one of these times I'm going to throw a wig on or long pants, and that'll really throw people off.
Hey, that's my thing. So,
So
well, dude, we're all very proud of you. Again, I can't thank you enough for having me, be involved and help you tell your story as you're kind of trekking along here. We have some more interesting stuff coming up in the future, which we'll talk about at a later date. But we're all very proud of you, dude, and very excited. But I want to thank you for having me be a part of it.
Well, thanks for doing this because again, I know it takes time out of your busy schedule as well, and uh, it's been fun. You do a very good job doing interviews. I actually watched the other one the other night. It's like Ken's got it down. He's got it down.
Yeah, this is my life. But I will send. You just send me the address to send the bill, and we'll be good to go.
Well, hey, one quick question because we
Sure.
need to plug in for you. So I believe that you're going to be doing an inner city before too long.
Yeah, so September 16th, Tuesday, with all the St. Louis clubs, there's going to be a couple of guest speakers there. I know one of them, probably one of the best looking guys I've ever met. And very entertaining. It'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about public image and just, we're going to be crazy. We're going to have a blast.
Well, I gotta say, if it's anything like what you did at Pets, then people are going to be, well, what I described that as is you were highly entertained, but learning a lot at the same time.
Yeah.
And, you know,
That's what I do.
I know we talk a lot about public image. It's super important. I would say public image is right up there with membership. You know, it's super important for us to really push that.
So it'll be Tuesday, September 16th. Right now, the venue is the Broadway Athletic Club.
Okay.
In Soulard. So if you're in the St. Louis area or in 6060 or whatever, just put that in your calendar now, and trust me, you will want to be there.
Oh, and I'm putting it in my calendar right now because I know I want to be there. So
you better be there.
you know what I need to do is I need to send that to a couple of the presidents in the district next to us who showed up at your that's one and then didn't leave, even though they were in the wrong room.
Hey, once you go in and like you go into a room and you see Metallica, you're not going to leave that room.
That was so funny.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again. And like I said, we'll do this again from the convention in a few days.
That sounds like a plan, my friend. We will catch you later.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye, bud.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.